The Presidency will now give the floor to the representative of the Syrian Arab Republic.
Thank you, Mr. President. Allow me to thank the Under-Secretary General for Peace Operations, Mr. Jean-Pierre Lacroix, for his briefing. Once again, we support his efforts and work to implement the mission's mandate. We also welcome Major General Patrick Gauchat, the head and acting chief of staff of the UNSO. We thank him for his briefing and we express our condolences to the UNDOF and the family of Mr. Amitaja. Mr. President, Syria stresses the important role of UNDOF and UNSO. We reaffirm our commitment to continue supporting these two missions and providing them with the necessary facilities so that they can carry out their mandates as required and to ensure the safety and security of their people. In this vein, we commend the previous head of UNDOF, Major General Nirmal Thapa, and we welcome the appointment of Major General Anita Asma to head the force. My country stresses the need for the immediate and conditional return of UNDOF to its deployment locations to allow it to carry out its mandate appropriately and continue its work monitoring and documenting the continued Israeli attacks and violations of the 1974 disengagement agreement. Whether regarding repeated Israeli raids on Syrian civilian infrastructure and areas as well as Syrian military and service infrastructure, or repeated Israeli incursions that continue since December 8, 2024 in large swaths of land in Mount Hernon, Quneitra Governorate, and neighboring areas reaching the governorates of Daraa and rural Damascus. These Israeli practices are acts of aggression against the sovereignty, unity, and territorial integrity of Syria and against the security of its people. They amount to violations of international law, the UN Charter, and relevant Security Council resolutions, including Resolution 242, 338, and 497, as well as resolutions regarding the occupied Syrian Golan adopted by the General Assembly last month. Mr. President, the Israeli occupation forces have advanced dozens of kilometers beyond the ceasefire line and the areas of separation and limitation. They attacked Syrian citizens in areas they have entered. They confiscated their homes and displaced large numbers of them. They destroyed civilian infrastructure. These aggressive practices are unacceptable and cannot be justified by any pretext provided by the occupation authorities. These acts require the condemnation by the Security Council. They require immediate steps to end them. In this vein, my country fully rejects the declarations by the Prime Minister of the Israeli occupation entity claiming that the 1974 disengagement agreement has collapsed. Syria supports the response by the UNDOF's leadership on this declaration, saying that the disengagement agreement remains valid despite the changes in the regimes and governance of the parties. This is guaranteed by international law and international norms. We stress that we stand ready to take all the necessary measures to ensure the continuation of the implementation of the agreement. Mr. President, Syria calls upon the Security Council to compel the Israeli occupation authorities to immediately and unconditionally withdraw from areas into which they have recently carried out an incursion in Syria and to respect the disengagement agreement, for which my country has repeatedly and time and again, and recently yesterday, committed fully and unequivocally. We reaffirm our inherent and inalienable right to recover the occupied Syrian Golan in full, in line with the relevant Security Council resolutions. We reject Israeli attempts to impose a new occupation reality. We thank member states which have supported the Syrian position during this session. The mandates of UNDOF and UNSOR remain necessary and a guarantee to maintain regional peace and security until a just, comprehensive and sustainable solution is reached in the area, and until the Israeli occupation of the Syrian Golan is ended, and until the occupation forces fully withdraw in line with the resolutions of international legitimacy. In conclusion, Mr. President, we would like to congratulate Brotherly Lebanon for the election of Mr. Joseph Aoun as president and the appointment of Mr. Nawaf Salam as prime minister. We wish Lebanon all good and stability. Thank you, Mr. President.
The presidency thanks the representative of the Syrian Arab Republic for the statement.